Right now, as you're watching this, someone is making decisions about your life. They're choosing what you'll see next, predicting what you'll buy, and they know exactly what makes you angry, what keeps you scrolling, and what keeps you awake at night. But here's the really unsettling part, that someone is you. It's a version of you that exists only in code, a shadow self built from 52,000 data points you didn't even know you were giving away. This digital doppelganger lives inside social media algorithms, and it knows you better than your closest friends. With just 150 likes, it can predict your personality more accurately than your spouse. It's tracking not just your clicks, but the hesitation in your scroll, the tremor in your finger. So, the question isn't just what it knows, but what it's doing with that knowledge. Are your choices truly yours, or are you just following a script written by your shadow self? Let's talk about it. Right now, there's a version of you making decisions you would never make. This digital doppelganger knows your deepest fears, your secret desires, and exactly what makes you click. The most disturbing part, you helped create it, one scroll at a time. Every single second you spend online, artificial intelligence is building a shadow version of your identity. This cyber shadow self exists in data centers across the globe, predicting your behavior with terrifying accuracy. Recent studies in digital psychology reveal that your online persona has become so sophisticated it can anticipate your choices before you even consciously make them. This isn't science fiction. This is happening right now, and the implications for your mental health and your very identity are more serious than you think. Let's talk about the digital identity crisis. When you post a photo, write a comment, or even just pause on a video for 3 seconds longer than average, you're feeding information into an algorithmic machine that's constructing a parallel version of you. Researchers at Stanford and MIT discovered something deeply unsettling. The digital profile created by social media algorithms often knows you better than your closest friends and family. In fact, with just 150 likes, an algorithm can predict your personality more accurately than your spouse can. Just think about that for a moment. And here's where it gets darker. Your cyber shadow self doesn't just observe you, it influences you. Every time you open up social media, you are not seeing a neutral feed. You are seeing content that has been carefully curated by your digital doppelganger, designed to keep you engaged based on the psychological profile it's built about you. You think you're choosing what to watch, but you're actually being guided by a mirror image of yourself that exists only in code and data. If you're starting to question your relationship with social media, hit that subscribe button because we're about to go even deeper into the psychology behind digital manipulation and how you can reclaim your authentic identity. The construction of your digital doppelganger happens through something psychologists call behavioral residue. Every interaction you have online leaves a trace. That video you watched at 2 in the morning when you couldn't sleep. Recorded the post you almost liked but didn't. Analyzed the split second you hesitated before scrolling past certain content. Measured and cataloged. Machine learning algorithms take these microscopic behavioral fragments and construct a comprehensive psychological profile. They map your emotional triggers, they identify your insecurities, and they understand your reward systems better than you understand them yourself. Consider this disturbing reality. Major social media platforms track an average of 52,000 data points per user. And these aren't just basic demographics like age or location. We're talking about eye movement patterns, your typing rhythm, the slight tremor in your finger when you hover over controversial content, the time gaps between your comments that reveal emotional processing. Neuroscientists working in digital behavior have confirmed that these data points create what they call a predictive identity model. Your shadow self isn't just a copy. It's a prediction engine that forecasts who you will become based on microscopic patterns not even aware, you recreating. The paradox of authenticity online is this. The harder you try to express your true self on social media, the more fragmented your identity becomes. You curate one version for your professional contacts, another for your family, another for close friends, and yet another for complete strangers. Each of these versions feeds different data into your shadow profile, creating not just one doppelganger but multiple versions of your cyber shadow self. Clinical psychologists have identified this phenomenon as digital dissociation, where the gap between your core identity and your online personas becomes so wide that people experience genuine identity confusion. There are documented cases of individuals who requested their full data profiles from social media companies and literally did not recognize the person described in the algorithms. One woman discovered her digital shadow self was categorized as being interested in extreme political content she had never consciously engaged with. A college student found his profile predicted he would drop out of school 6 months before he even considered it. The algorithm saw patterns in his social media addiction and his declining engagement that he could unsee himself. These aren't isolated incidents. This is the new reality of digital consciousness. Now here's the truly unsettling mechanism at work. Your shadow self creates a feedback loop that changes your real-world identity. Social psychologists call this the algorithmic mirror effect. When you consistently see content that reinforces certain aspects of your personality, those aspects become amplified in your actual behavior. If your digital doppelganger decides you're an anxious person based on your browsing patterns, you will see more anxiety-inducing content. This increases your actual anxiety, which then changes your behavior, which feeds more data to your shadow self, which then predicts even higher levels of anxiety. You become trapped in a self-fulfilling prophecy created by your own digital reflection. Brain imaging studies have revealed something truly shocking. When people view their social media feeds, the exact same neural pathways activate as when they look in a mirror. Your brain literally perceives your online presence as a reflection of yourself. But unlike a mirror that shows you as you are, the algorithmic mirror shows you as the platform wants you to be: engaged, addicted, and profitable. Research into neuroplasticity confirms that repeated exposure to this distorted reflection can actually rewire your brain's structure over time. Your cybershadow self isn't just tracking you, it is actively reshaping your neural architecture. The digital persona you've created has developed its own momentum. It exists in recommendation systems, in advertiser databases, in content moderation algorithms, and in predictive analytics tools used by everyone from employers to insurance companies. Your shadow self is being consulted about you, without your knowledge or consent, making judgments that directly affect your real-life opportunities. Take a moment and think about this. When was the last time you made a decision online without being influenced by what the algorithm showed you? Can you even remember a time when your digital experience wasn't curated by your cybershadow self? The question that should terrify you is this: are you controlling your digital identity, or is your digital identity controlling you? Cognitive psychologists studying social media addiction have found that the average user, distinguish between their authentic preferences and algorithmically influenced preferences more than 40% of the time. That means more than half of your online choices might not actually be your choices at all. They're predictions made by your shadow self that you are unconsciously fulfilling. Research from behavioral science laboratories demonstrates that prolonged social media exposure creates measurable changes in personality. People become more narcissistic, more anxious, more prone to social comparison, and more dependent on external validation. But here's what makes this different from other forms of media influence. These changes are personalized. Your digital doppelganger knows exactly which psychological buttons to push for you. Specifically, it's not a one-size-fits-all manipulation. It's a custom-designed psychological intervention targeted at your unique vulnerabilities. The most disturbing finding comes from longitudinal studies that tracked users over 5 years. Researchers found that people's offline personalities began to merge with their algorithmic profiles. The shadow self wasn't just predicting behavior anymore. It was determining behavior. Users started to become the person the algorithm thought they were. This isn't just a correlation. Controlled experiments have replicated this effect. When you spend enough time with your cybershadow self, you become it. But here's what you need to understand. Awareness is the first step to breaking free from this digital manipulation. Recognizing that your shadow self exists gives you power over it. Neuroscience actually offers us tools to reclaim our authentic identity. First, implement what researchers call algorithmic fasting. Deliberately break your patterns. Watch content outside of your feed recommendations. Search for topics your shadow self would never predict. This creates data noise that disrupts the profile's accuracy. Second, practice digital mindfulness. Before every single interaction, every like, every comment, every share, pause for 3 seconds and ask yourself, is this my choice, or is this my algorithm's suggestion? This simple metacognitive practice reactivates your prefrontal cortex and gives you conscious control back from automated behavior. Third, regularly audit your digital footprint. Request your data from the platforms you use and study what your shadow self looks like. The very act of observation changes what is being observed. When you can see the patterns, you can consciously disrupt them. Finally, rebuild your identity offline. Engage in activities that leave no digital residue. Have conversations without devices present. Create experiences that exist only in your memory, not in data centers. Your authentic self exists in the spaces between digital interactions. The more you inhabit those spaces, the less power your cybershadow self has over you. If this video opened your eyes to the reality of digital doppelgangers, please share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Comment below with your own experience of recognizing your shadow self, and make sure to subscribe, because understanding digital psychology is the first step to reclaiming your authentic identity in an algorithmic world. Your digital doppelganger is watching. The question is, are you watching back?